Today we're taking a look at an offering from FUNCRECOL. This is going to be for 3D photopolymer resin printers, both LCD and DLP compatible. And like most resins, you're going to have to make sure that you wear your protective equipment while you're using this. And you want to print between 25 and 30 degrees centigrade. Now that's pretty important for this particular brand of printer. It's a little sensitive to temperature. And obviously your other keep away from light and don't drink it. Those are your pretty standard common precautions there. So in the box, we're going to get UV curing putty. Now inside of this package, we're going to have a small piece of wood. This is, you can use this as an applicator primarily. You can use other tools if you have them on hand. This is going to be their actual putty. It's not a lot, but you don't really need a lot to do most projects. Again, we're dealing with very small prints, so this would fill a very large gap in a very small model. And this is UV sensitive, so don't put this in sunlight. Try to keep it out of a direct UV light, and you know the deal there. And we have a small piece of sandpaper, which again is used for post-processing to smooth this out for any pits or crevices you might be filling it with it. And product manual. This is part product manual, part sales package. In here, we have your standard precautions, handling instructions, etc., as well as a listing of most of the offerings from FUNCRECOL and the recommended printing times. You give some information regarding their mechanical properties on how tough it is and what you can expect it to do. But the real kicker here is you'll have to find the resin you are using and adjust your printer to the proper print time, such as the 103 clear resin. Now, I went ahead and ran this on my printer at 3 seconds. This is going to be the glossy red. And as you can see, the detail on those wings and along that spine is absolutely immaculate. Now, this is a clear resin, but it's more of a translucent resin. These wings, it kind of doesn't show up really well with the lighting in here, but the wings you can see through pretty decently. But as you get to thicker chunks of body, that becomes almost opaque. It gives you the illusion of being clear, but not really. So you're trading off being able to see it versus having the color. And really, the thicker the piece, the more bright this red's going to show up. Now, looking a bit on the geek side of things, here's my cones of calibration. This is my success side at that 3 seconds. And those are all 3 successes. On the failure side, I just barely failed. This means I left some detail on the table. I could have lowered this exposure by about 1.5 seconds or so. But as you can see, the detail on this, writing for the failure and the success came out pretty good. For the more detailed geek information, we have some pretty good representation down to the 0.15 millimeter, which you can see just barely here, almost like a scratch in the card. But I actually start seeing some recess in person down at the 0.2. But I still have that beautiful extraction all the way up to the, or all the way down to that 0.15. And that looked like a really, really good print.